of Navam Capital, joining us on the show. Rajeev, thanks very much for your time. You've been traveling a lot. We've been seeing, looking for opportunities even on the unlisted side of the market. We'll talk about that subsequently. But first of all, you know, interestingly, Larsen and Tubro today is gaining a couple of percentage points. But today, Larsen's up move is the biggest up move in the last 6 months. And even if you look at the last 3 months, 6 month chart of Larsen, it seemed to be giving one sense that there is concentrated buying happening. And this is the poster boy of infrastructure engineering space in India. And we are actually also at that time of the year when we are discussing budget. Is this a budget trade perhaps playing out? What are your expectations from the market standpoint on how this budget is going to be? Do you think market will get the continuity and focus on reforms, infrastructure, which it has gotten used to last couple of years? Or do you think we do run a risk, a little bit of tilt on high welfare schemes as well?
Thanks, Ajay, for having me again. I do think that the budget will continue to maintain a balance. So I don't think this government over the last 8-9 years has gone too far in any one direction. And we will continue to see that, where we will see important reforms being pushed forward, important structural reforms and liberalization moves happening. At the same time, we will also see certain welfare schemes and other kinds of programs to support the needy sections of the population, getting those benefits through the direct benefit transfer platform that has come together very nicely in the last 5-6 years. So I see the budget as kind of balancing both of these. And I think, in fact, from a political economy sense, that's probably how it should be.
Fair point. Let's take a step back and talk about where India lies right now in overall scheme of things. Just today we saw the Chinese quarterly growth data. It actually surprised many with 2.8%.
Yes.
But we've seen that Hang Seng has rallied quite a lot. Taiwan has rallied. China, money is pouring back because of, it had fallen quite a lot. There's a kind of a long rest of Asia, short India trade going on right now, perhaps because we had a great last 2 years and even last year. Once this has normalized, do you see next couple of months money coming back, more structural money coming back to India because of these reforms which you're speaking about, because of the way superior growth we are clocking here in India? Or do you think this consolidation in the market, which seemed to have started, say, October, November onwards, may actually, carry on for some time and the focus should be on picking the right stocks?
So what we are seeing with Hong Kong and China now is essentially the about turn that the government there has taken, right, on COVID. And they are kind of in the kind of opening up phase now, and they are experiencing the benefits of that. So, and clearly the crackdown on tech stocks there, or the tech companies there, has also run its course. And I think both these factors together are providing support to Asian markets, or rather the Chinese markets. And along with that, China being a big constituent of emerging market indices has also helped other emerging market counters and indices go up. As far as India is concerned, obviously last year India was a standout in the world, and it continues to be so, I feel, because of the structural growth story that we have. And when it comes to this year, while valuations have been a little elevated, for that reason, we could see maybe markets going sideways or in consolidation mode, as you put it. But I do feel that India will continue to be probably the world's largest growing economy for the foreseeable future. And thus, along with that growth, we will see companies growing, we will see earnings growing. And thus, I continue to be optimistic about where markets are headed for India even from this point on.
Rajeev, how have you been researching, acting in the markets in the last, say, 6 months or so? Which are the areas of interest for you where you're deploying additional capital?
So I think in some of the new age listings which took place in 2021, many of those counters got pummeled over the last 1 year. And I think there is a lot of value to be had in some of those areas now. Because the listings obviously happened at a time of great frothiness in the market. and now I think the valuations are getting more sensible. So I think that is one area which is very high potential. And the other area I'm very interested in is in the engineering sort of R&D services segment. The likes of companies like LTTS, Tata Elxsi, and a few others, KPIT among them. So I think those who are providing these kind of high value added services will continue to sort of have an edge.
Rajiv, let's take that first point. I would ask my producer to, pull out these consumer tech companies, how they've behaved in the last 6 months or 1 year. Because I'd like to bring to the table the point that Franklin Mutual Fund, say a couple of weeks back, did share on a platform that they have been buyers of these beaten down consumer tech companies, Paytm's, Nykaa's, deliveries of the world. Mire, the data shows for the quarter ended December, is the second fund which has also been buyer in many of these names. Goldman says Paytm is likely to turn profitable in the fourth quarter. While you do like that space, can you specify which area? Food delivery interests you, technology-led kind of express cargo business interests you, insurance intermediary interests you. What exactly do you like there?
So obviously, this is not investment advice, so everyone should do their own research. And there are risks in all of these companies even today. But my favorite area in this continues to be the sort of consumer piece of e-commerce, and within that space, I like Nykaa a lot. So I continue to think that Nykaa will sort of do quite well over the coming years.
Rajiv, you also look at automobile end of the market very closely, especially this time around, the Auto Expo, which happened in Delhi, and we did fabulous coverage of that on both our channels, saw an emergence of category even bigger, which is EV and alternate fuel run mobility. Across platform, be it two-wheelers, cargo, which is three-wheelers, four-wheelers, SUVs also, and just yesterday Mahindra did put out their first electric SUV. You also have an skin in one of those companies, Ather, if I'm not wrong. How do you see now numbers going? And Ather is also talking IPO plans once they turn profitable. How do you see that side, and what's your take on Ather?
So 2022 would probably go down as the breakout year for electric vehicles in India. So across categories, like you mentioned, Ajay, so whether it's two-wheelers, three-wheelers, four-wheelers, across the board, we are seeing new models being launched. Even all the leading automakers have now joined the party, and there is a wide variety available now for anyone looking to purchase electric vehicle versus a combustion engine vehicle. So I would say that earlier the variety was not there, the consumer choice was not there, and today pretty much at every price point, starting if we talk four-wheelers, starting with the Nexon, which is at the kind of 10-12 lakh range, and going up to the luxury cars, all of them are offering electric variants. The same is true for scooters and even electric bikes now. Even some of the more powerful electric bikes are offering kind of the electric version. Powerful bikes are offering electric versions. Ather, I would not like to particularly comment about the company. I mean, best to ask them. But like the other two-wheeler companies, they are in fact leading the transformation of the space. And Ather Energy has been seeing very good revenue traction, very good kind of unit sales and so on. And what I have always liked about the company is that they've had a focus on engineering, they've had a focus on product and R&D, which will probably serve them very well over time.
Before I let you go, it just occurred to me, because we were having this discussion last time around when we met, that metals actually are not done and dusted. And look at the way metals have actually rallied last week. International industrial metals have been rallying very sharply. Back home, JSW Steels of the world and metal counters have come back. In fact, if I'm not wrong, today metal gainers are the biggest pocket active. Q4 GDP, all of that of China. China reopened trade. What are your take? Is that corrective phase in Indian metal stocks over? Are you still holding some of them? Ferrous, non-ferrous? Which side would comfort you, from here? Because no additional supplies are coming in. And if China does roar back, to normalcy, it should make up for a lot of slowdown in US and mind you Europe. Barclays and Goldman already are saying that Europe may not weaken as much as they thought, say 3 months, 4 months back. So there a U-turn over there.
No, and talking about Europe, actually, the winter has been a surprise over there, right? A lot of people were making kind of doomsday predictions about how the winter would go for Europe without Russian gas. But clearly, the preparedness was better than most analysts were anticipating. Or there's also been a slice of luck here with the weather not being as bad as people were anticipating. So both factors have actually probably given some relief there for Europe. And specifically on metals, yes, I think with China kind of opening up its economy again, there's likely to be a kind of demand spurt. And because of the supply disruptions, including in China, China obviously produces over half the steel in the world. So because of the supply disruptions that could have happened there, I think the rally that we have seen in some of the steel stocks over the last 3 to 4 months, maybe the two things are connected there, obviously.
All right, Rajiv, we'll let you go on that one. Thanks so much for joining in and
Thank you,
sharing
Rajeev.
your thoughts on the investing environment. Let's
Thank
go
you.
on to my colleague Anurag